Hello, and welcome to It's Already In You podcast. We are your hosts, Liz
and Janine, nutrition and movement experts, mothers and business owners, obsessed with helping you quiet the noise of diet culture.
Seeing through the false advertising and promises of our food and fitness industries, helping you discover that everything you need to upgrade your health and well-being is already in you.
Sometimes the content comes to us so easy, like it's just from conversations that we have with our clients or our friends or questions that we get from people about things that they're doing in their life or things that they're seeing on social media. And I feel like today's conversation is so important because it does depend on what's going on in the industry or what's trending, or a lot of the times, you know, it's like the fad diets, it's the fad supplements, so I have a friend that, you know, she always gets caught up in the marketing of something, whether it be that fad diet or the next supplement that is trending, or, you know, whatever it is. It could be coconut oil is good for you, right? And we get so excited about it. We're swishing with the coconut oil. We're bathing in it. We're putting in it everything. We're cooking with it. We're putting in our coffee. And, you know, today we had a conversation about how she was using something that is a supplement and didn't feel very good about it. Mm-hmm. And so Liz and I were like, this definitely needs to be an episode, because this is something that happens to all of us at some point.
Totally.
Right?
Yeah.
Especially if you're going through things, you're like, oh, I'm feeling this way. And then you see something on social media that says, this can make you feel great.
Of course.
Right? You did it.
Feel better.
You posted the other day about everything you're seeing when it comes to hormones and menopause and perimenopause. And, you know, it's targeted to you, right?
Of course,
like,
yeah.
This is going to make you lose weight if you're in menopause. And all of a sudden we're clicking on buy because that's what we need in the moment.
Yeah.
Right? So we're going to talk a lot about this. We don't know if we can get this all in one episode, but hopefully we do. And if not, we'll make this a 2-part episode. But the first thing I want to say is, when you think about supplement, think about what that means. A supplement is a supplement. It's not to be part of your everyday routine, or, you know, if it is, it's because you have a deficiency, or, you know, the individuality of all of us comes to play when it comes to speak to these certain supplements. But when you're talking about like generalization supplements, like a protein powder, or, you know, a fizzy drink, or greens, or something that, you know, even like an electrolyte replacement.
Yeah.
It is to supplement something that your body needs in that time that you might not be able to get from Whole Foods, right?
Yeah.
If you're out there on the fields for more than 90 minutes, you might need a supplement, because maybe what you ate in the morning or your hydration isn't going to be able to be enough for what the activity is that you're doing. Or you know that, you know, you're not feeling very well and you want to supplement some extra greens, right? This is when supplements may be a good addition, especially if we're looking for good ingredient supplements. We know what's in it. We know that the ingredients are good. But I want to just say that our bodies are meant to take in whole foods, to chew them, to digest them, to process them, to get the nutrients out of them in order to get what our body needs from them.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's what we've, you know, continually have said, is that our bodies need what it understands. We can't manipulate the natural process of our digestive system, or, you know, the chewing produces the saliva, and like it's a whole, and then the bile which breaks down the food and helps with digestion. It's just a whole process that we can't manipulate. We can't choose to change or find a more convenient or easier route to get there. And as we've talked about before, you know, the increase of processed foods and stuff, a lot of it started by convenience or to help complement the busier lifestyle. And supplements are an arm off that thought. They are also like, it might be too busy to do A, B, and C, so drink your greens so that you still get fruits and vegetables. And there might be times that's necessary or impactful with a quality ingredient or a quality product. But the majority of the time, your body is not going to recognize that the same way it would a salad full of variety of vegetables and colors and all of that really great stuff. It just isn't. And so when we understand that point blank period, that it's just not the same, then we can step back and say, you know what? Okay, so what is the purpose of supplements? What is the purpose for me individually? Well, one, I need to learn about my body, what my body's telling me, what the needs are of my body, where I am in the course of life, what my goals are, how I want to feel, and a doctor, a nutritionist, blood work, all those things might come into play when you're figuring out if supplements are something that you need. Whenever a client comes to me, I will always look at diet first, and before I give them any supplement, I will send them home with information on how they can support their health through their diet. Once they come back and they're like, yeah, I've been doing all these things, I'm still feeling A, B, and C, then we look and say, okay, well, if you're eating a well-rounded diet consistently, then maybe your body does need a little extra support, because let's figure out why.
Right.
And then that support is beneficial and impactful.
Absolutely. And in saying that, it is a complement. It shouldn't be the main source of that vitamin or that mineral or that food, right? And that process that the body goes through, and what is inside that, say, vegetable that you're eating, is such a combination of chemistry that to mimic that, can you imagine how difficult it would be to mimic that, have something man-made, synthesized in a lab, and have it work the same way in your body as the process of digestion and processing food of our body, right?
Yeah.
If you think about it in that way, it doesn't even seem possible that we could make something that could do what our body knows to do with the actual chemistry and the makeup of the real food. So in saying that, and then when things are trending, right? Like people come to you and they're just, whatever it is, collagen is trending. And I'm going to come out and say it, that most of the research that is out there on collagen is not proving that it's working for all the things that they're saying that it's working for, right? So then we're spending all this money. And I think there's always a placebo effect of anything.
Sure.
Right? And then if you think that you're acting healthier, and then you are healthier, and maybe you're drinking more water, and then you're working out a little bit more, and then you don't even know. Is it the supplement?
Yeah.
Is it because you just changed your life so much, right? Or you just changed your habits so much? So, just so that we're clear, it's not necessarily that a supplement may not work, but we're always trying to say that the first thing, that first line of defense or even offense, is to get whole foods and get those nutrient-dense foods into our diet. And then do blood work and see if you're not feeling right, if you're not feeling like things are functioning the way that they're supposed to, then there may be something going on. There may be a deficiency.
Yeah.
And then when we find out what that is, being really careful as to the source of where we're getting that supplement, right? Is it a multi-level marketing company? Is it something we're finding on CVS shelves that are not really regulated, that, supplements are worse than the food system?
Oh, 100%. There's zero regulation to that.
Right? You could have a pill that's supposed to be 100 IUD. Yes, of vitamin C, right? And each pill in that bottle can contain different levels of what that's supposed to be.
Totally.
And where is the source of that?
Yeah.
Where are they getting it? What is the source of that mineral, that vitamin?
Sure.
We don't know that either. What else is in that pill? Is it genetically modified? Where are they getting that mineral or that vitamin? And I think that's so important, because then there's the repercussion of that.
Yeah. Yeah,
right?
it might not only have a positive or do what you want it to do, but in fact, just like processed food, it might have an adverse effect. It might create a negative reaction or communication in your body. So when the time comes that you are like, okay, supplements, I need something. I need, to fill a gap. I need to support my body a little bit deeper than just, a whole food quality diet. You really need to take the time to find a high quality supplement. And that is either, working with someone that you trust who can help guide you, or taking the time to do your own education and research, because they are out there.
Yes.
They tend to be a little bit more pricey, because just like any high quality thing, you're investing in their process of making sure whatever's in the supplements are grown organically or whatever that might be. And most of the time, you're not going to find these on store shelves of your grocery store or like a CVS. You're either going to have to go to a healthcare professional or find, a business brand that you're buying directly from. And so just to like be mindful of that is that if and when you are like, supplements are right for me, I know why, I know that this is something my body needs, really take the time to find the source because of where you're getting it from. Because when you do get that high quality source, most likely it's going to fill that hole, and then you're not going to need that supplement anymore, because you're going to also be making your food and your diet more mindful. So they work in synergy together. And one thing I just want to say is that in my head, when I look at the umbrella of supplements, I look at one group, one set of needs for a very physical, health supporting way. And there is a need for that for sure. There has been a whole other kind of business, communication branch of supplements that are for exterior needs, or are being sold to us for hair, for skin, for nails, for essentially being young and youthful. And how can I supplement my way out of aging? And I am here to tell you that you cannot do that. We all age, but what can do that is healthy food, hydration, exercise, good communication, healthy relationships, all those things. Like, that is the glow that cannot be bought in a bottle. So when I walk through the Target and the ends of the aisles, most of those ends are debloat, collagen, longer hair, whatever that may be. And so just to know that those are two totally different things. Like, you can have conversations about the health supplements that support nutritional needs or physical gaps. And then there is the vanity supplements. And so just to understand both of those kind of thoughts.
Yes. They all have the marketing ability to entice us to want to take them, right, on both sides.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, and it's interesting how much they are associated with whatever is trending, right? Again, it's like seeing processed packaged foods, supplements. Again, they're even less regulated than our foods. And there's always labels on them that promise all these things. And I think, when we say even the research not showing or showing that something works, even a lot of these companies will say that they have been researched.
Yeah.
And the research shows that they work. Well, if we wanted to do research on, if you drank 4 glasses of water a day, and we wanted to make research come out the way that we wanted it to work for whatever it was that we were researching, we could make the results happen.
Yeah.
You just have to be really careful and understand like what you're hearing and what they're promising, and that if it's coming from them, it's not necessarily that they,
actually did a full scale of research that's like you can find the data on or anything
that's
like
unbiased.
that.
So you have to be really careful. And like Liz said, make sure that if there is something that you need, go to a professional that can help you find the best source of that supplementation that you need and that can guide you in the right direction, looking for those supplements that are going to be helpful and not hurtful.
Yeah. Yeah. And as you're talking, like, I want to take a second and really break this down. I mean, we're obviously talking about supplements today, but why do we feel like we need supplements for being human and like aging or beauty? Like, why do we allow ourselves, and believe me, like, I have bought into it before. I have, or even if I haven't clicked the shop, I've sat there and like been like, oh, my skin's like looking a little wrinkly these days. Maybe this is going to help, or, you know, whatever that may be, something that I'm insecure about. Why do we feel like those insecurities or those things, and especially as women, but men too, can be purchased in a bottle, in a gummy, in a capsule? Like, why as a culture or society are we not looking at the source of life, like how we live and we thrive? Like, why aren't we I'm like having a moment here because it's all
I just
coming.
Had the same moment.
Why,
I'm like, wait a second.
Why aren't we looking at what gives us life? Food, point blank. That's it. I mean, obviously sleep, all those other things, but like
sun, yes.
But like the main source is food. So like when we are wanting to thrive and feel and look our very best, why are we trusting a plastic bottle with a powder or, like I said, a gummy or a capsule or whatever that's bought online or in like a general store to give us all the things that we want to feel secure or to feel, and do they even like really work? And it's more of like a cultural mind F that is given to us because it's not necessary. It really isn't. It is not going to do what it says it does. It's just not.
But it's like our friends and family and clients and even ourselves, because we all have been there. Like you said, we've all been subject to feeling a certain way and wanting to get the quick fix, right? Like I will tell you, as much education as I've gotten over the years, I'll hear something and I'll think to myself, oh, it would be so great to just take that and for this to happen, right?
Yeah,
like,
of course.
It's like, I don't want to get needles in my head to not have wrinkles. So I hope someday they come out with a pill that you just don't have wrinkles anymore, right? Like, and it's the same thing with everything to do with the way we want to look, the way we want to feel. We don't want to work for it.
Yeah.
We don't. We want to just say, oh, look, I can pay $39.99 and get this monthly prescription to this pill, a subscription to this pill, I should say. And then we're going to get this result that we want, and we're going to get it so fast. And we don't have to work for it.
Yeah,
right?
Like we're smarter than that.
We are smarter than that.
But these businesses put those words and those taglines and those colors and those beautiful humans that like have the things that maybe we're striving for in front of us.
Yep.
And it's like what I say, it's kind of like trickery. But in the moment we get sold on it, and I get it. Like I get being vulnerable and insecure. And, you know, some of this comes from also like acceptance of things change as you age. And so that doesn't mean, and this also fills the gap for like nutritional needs for supplements too. Your body may need more support as you age because it's been used. It's your kind of supply of things are starting to like maybe diminish. You know, your immune system might need a little bit more support or so on and so forth. But when it comes to like the exterior stuff, there is a level of acceptance that one is hard sometimes as you're aging and you're looking in the mirror and you're seeing things change, that I feel like eventually like you settle into because you're like, this is who I am. And there's a lot of amazing positive things that come from just like accepting this is who I am and amazing. And I don't care as much as maybe I did when I was in my 20s. But my point being is that there's no way around it. And so if we're trying to supplement our way out of a natural process that we're going through, we are kind of wasting our time and our ability and our focus on the things that we can control to keep us looking and feeling our best. And that's movement. That all the things we said, movement, high quality foods, community, sleep, vitamin D, sun, outdoor, nature. Like those are all actually proven time and time again that those things work, and that the bottle of the gummies just that work.
It's so funny, Liz. Like as you're talking, I see like the same fit. Like I'm feeling you so much. Like I'm thinking right now, like why is it that when we feel like, you know, like it's like, all right, I'm feeling like I've gained a few pounds or I'm aging a little bit, or instead of, and we know this, it's already in us.
Yep.
We know what we need to do. And I have so many clients tell me every single day, I know what I need to do.
Yeah.
But it's doing it.
It's doing it.
Why do we get so held back? Why when we go to the doctor and they're like, oh, maybe a little dehydrated, drink Gatorade, drink Pedialyte, give your kid this.
Yeah.
Like, why aren't they saying you need to eat better? You need to have potassium from a banana. You need to hydrate more. Why do we go to a product?
Yeah.
Why is that? And it's professionals that we trust.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to the gym and they're selling you these drinks, which we're going to have like a full episode on. But like, you know, and we've all seen them, and I'm sorry for those of you who think these things are good, but the Celsius and the CPKA or whatever the heck they are.
Yeah,
like,
there's so many now.
There's so many. Why do we have to have something that we need to spend our hard? It blows my mind that I have so many people say to me, I can't afford to shop like you.
Yeah.
Or, wow, you must have a big budget. No, I don't buy frozen fruit. I try not to buy a lot of, not frozen fruit. What was I going to say? I don't buy processed food. I buy frozen food.
Yes, I was going to say, I feel like frozen fruit's a way to save money.
I like frozen. I don't buy like a lot of processed foods or already created meals.
Shelf-likey.
Shelf-likey things. I avoid those things. I buy things like frozen fruit so it lasts longer.
Yeah.
I do, unfortunately, not always proud of going to like these stores that sell like bulk food, but I do go because I can get that big bag of organic frozen fruit and keep it in the freezer and it lasts longer. And you know what I mean? You can take a scoop of frozen blueberries and you could make a parfait or whatever it is that you're going to put those blueberries in, and they unfreeze while they're in the refrigerator. They actually taste delicious. They're like sweeter, and you know what I mean? But anyway, like you can find ways to not spend a lot of money. But then these people that are asking you how you don't spend all that money are the ones buying these supplements that are spending hundreds of dollars a month on supplementation when really they could be buying nutrient-dense whole foods that are better quality and not spend nearly as much money as they are on the supplements that are not working. Right?
Yeah. I mean, it's the theme that we keep coming back to is like, I feel like day to day when I'm working with nutrition clients, I am honestly just trying to get them to trust the simplicity of how to eat. So like, when you're having those two things, like why are, you know, spending the money on the fruits, the vegetables, the, you know, high quality meats or dairies or whatever it is that you choose to buy versus spending that money on supplements, there is a pause in the middle and it's like, no, I can't trust that eating well consistently is going to make me feel like I want to feel, look like I want to look. It can't be that simple. So I'm going to put my money in the gummy capsule powder category, and then I'm not going to have enough for food, and food is what gives us our life, and we need
So let me choose that over this.
Over that.
Because this tells me that it's going to do what I want it to do.
Yeah, like of course you're going to believe it. You know, it's telling you this is going to, like, I get that. It's taking that step back, critical thinking about really what is real. And I know that like when we're saying this and you guys are listening at home, you're like, yes, I also get that like concept. I get the thought of both. But somehow I'm finding myself, still buying those things or wanting to buy those things and not so much trusting that food is going to be my greatest support or my answer or whatever that might be. It is. I promise you it's going to be. It always will be. And to really look at the two separately. The other thing, that I feel like a lot of times we set ourselves up for feeling like we need to depend on a supplement is because we don't give ourselves whatever it may be, prioritize the time for food,
right?
To actually make food, to actually sit down and eat food and go through the process. So we think, okay, well, I know that fruits and vegetables are necessary, but I don't have the time to cut them up and put them in my fridge, and I don't want to buy them, and I don't, whatever. So I'm just going to drink it on the way to work in my tea, and think that I got my servings a day. And I'm not saying that that's not always, that there is like 100% of the time you can never do that. Like you said when we were talking before this episode started, like if you're on a camping trip or if you are traveling, on a vacation and you just you're not going to get, a lot of those types of foods in, then maybe a supplement comes with you so that you can make sure you are getting, and that there are supplements out there that are better than most. And you found that and you choose to supplement it in when you can't get the whole foods.
Right.
And so, unless we take a step back and we figure out how we're going to create more time in getting foods in, the supplement tricks our brain to be like, oh, well, I don't need to create that time because I'm still getting it in. So I'm just going to keep leaning in the direction of these products that I'm spending money on. I don't know if they actually work. I don't know if my body actually needs it. I can't reverse aging, but I'm trying. So here I am, and food isn't a priority.
Right. Where it should be the first priority.
It should be the first priority.
And I think we should leave with this because I feel like we could talk about this forever, but I think that something that you just said, same idea when it comes to movement, right?
Yeah.
Like we show up at the gym and we show up and we do this workout, and I always say to people, could you imagine like if you did a plank and you got up and you had a six-pack?
Yeah.
Like how effective and how much motivation that would be to continue, right? But you don't.
Yeah.
You go to the gym, you show up. It's hard to get there. You do all the work, and then you finish, and you feel like you don't see any progress.
Yeah.
And then you show up again, and then you feel like you don't see any progress. And then you show up again, and maybe that time you really don't feel good. It doesn't feel nice to be sore or not be able to do something because you don't feel great in your body that third time or fourth time or fifth time or whatever. And then you keep showing up, and progress starts to happen. It's not immediate. It's not something you see, like you take the pill and you see the results, right? You don't see that when you take a supplement either. But because you're marketed to, you believe it. You start to think like, oh, well, it has to work because they're telling me it works. And there's all these reviews that it works, right?
Yeah.
But bottom line is, if you keep showing up for yourself, if you keep making the good food and eating the good food and not eating the processed, crappy, not rich in nutrients food, and you show up for yourself, just like you keep showing up and working out, there is no doubt that those benefits are happening. Not always can you see them immediately, but you will see them over time.
Yeah.
And I think progress is hard because it takes consistency, and it takes keep doing the good thing over and over and over again to see the results. And one other thing, and I think this should be an episode, but another episode, write this down. But like time restriction, and like you said, you don't have time. I'm gonna say this. I am super busy.
Yeah,
right?
of course.
Extremely busy. Have a family, run business, have a podcast, do all the things. Still, I find myself, I've been listening to a trial that's going on right now.
Yeah.
I have been avoiding reading for my course that I'm in right now because I'm listening to this trial. And when you look at what you've done in a day and you realize that you just spent 4 hours listening to a trial.
Oh my gosh.
2 hours scanning the social media stuff about the trial. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Like, let's be real here.
Yeah.
You have the time.
You have the time.
You have the time.
It doesn't need to be anything groundbreaking. It needs to be taking the time to make some choices, and then however that works for you, simply just cutting things up, having it prepared. Yes.
Yeah. Listen to the It's Already in You podcast.
Yes.
And prep your food for the week.
Yes.
And now you've done 2 things. Now you're being so, prioritizing your time, but also getting things done.
Yeah. And I could safely say, just like going back to listening to the podcast, if you press us on, press play, by the time we were done talking, you would be done food prepping.
Yes.
Like literally give yourself 30 minutes and you would be surprised how much you can get done when you're committed to like the big picture. And so, time commitment, 100%, food, 100%. And then the other thing that I want to leave this episode with is that kind of came as an aha moment is that there is acceptance that needs to happen that is going to, that we can't supplement our way out. The mental health side of it, the self-care, the confidence, the simple fact that we are human bodies that experience human things. And one of that is aging. One of that is like just having differences between each other. Change. Like, you look different than I look different. So how are we supposed to take the same thing and try to look like that person that's selling? It's just not going to happen. Skin tones are different. Hair quality is different. Like life experiences are different. Like we just need to strive to be our best self. Of course you want to look your best wherever that is, and obviously feel your best. But there needs to be a radical level of acceptance across the board with what is happening in our food, beauty, fitness industry. And as busy and sped up as the world is getting, you can't speed up the human body or your health, your organs, your systems. And we will say that forever. Like that is just like, that is the like baseline of everything, is that you just can't, like, we're not a computer.
There's no shortcut.
We're not. It just isn't.
There's no side way there. There's no magic pill like we have been talking about for years, right? Like there's nothing that is going to make something happen for you that you're looking to have happen other than taking care of yourself.
Yeah.
And staying with that.
And committed to that as you move through your life. And to accept the fact that sometimes as you move through your life, things change, and that is okay. You might have some wrinkles. You may be 5 pounds heavier than you were 10 years ago. Yeah. That still doesn't mean anything of your self-worth or your health. You can be healthier than you were 10 years ago and still be 5 pounds heavier because your body changes and it's supposed to change. And we need to trust the change and trust that we have everything that we need, everything in us to support ourselves, to care for that's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah. If we could only see ourselves from the inside out.
Totally.
Right.
So I loved this episode.
Yes,
I think it's like I'm leaving like feeling very motivated and inspired, just even talking to clients, like just affirming what we already believe.
Yes.
It's already in us. So if you have any feedback, if you have any thoughts on this episode, please share them. Visit us on It's Already In You podcast on Instagram and or email us at It's Already In You podcast @gmail. Any topics that you want to hear about, any feedback that you have from these episodes now that the episodes have been rolling out weekly, we want to hear from you. Comment, rate on Spotify and streaming services. That's going to get more people to find us and listen to us. And we appreciate you doing that.
We appreciate all of you. And thank you so much for listening to us. And we hope that you're getting all you need to be the best you.